I'm sorry, Miss Peggy, my system is not letting me share the sound.
Okay, just put up the slideshow then. The one that you had before.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to reach?
I'm going right now. What did you mail it in for?
Are you seeing it?
No, ma'am. You have to yeah, well, you have unshared, right? You have to go out and come back in. Okay, now we see it.
This concludes our presentation. I will stop sharing.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. And as luck would have it, poor Claudia is back to back on her performances here. So I'm going to allow Claudia to do the presentation for secretaries. Please welcome our 2021 first Vice President, Claudia Gaitan.
Thank you. Good afternoon, leaders. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Ms. Peggy, to speak with our 2021 secretaries, our local secretaries. And I'm glad that others are here with us listening in so that we could do a little bit of cross-training. As you know, my name is Claudia Gaitan, and I'm your 2021 First Vice President. This is the state leadership name for secretary. So I'm really excited to be presenting to you all. And please know that I have served in all the different network levels at the local level, so I'm familiar with the process. Secretary was the one and only position that I did not serve in, but listening and hearing and looking at all these different presentations has taught me a lot. So cross-training is super important. So first of all, the spotlight is on you, the secretary. You are very, very important to your network. I want to say that you are the historian for the year for your network. You're a very valuable asset. You're, of course, a member of the governing board. You have voting rights as well. And you need to take your job very seriously. You are very important, just like all of the other roles. So what exactly does the secretary do? Okay, you take precise and authentic minutes, not notes. That's one thing I've learned. We're not taking notes. We are taking important minutes regarding the meeting and what is being discussed at the meeting. Let me change something here. I'm going to change my view. You record what is done and not what is being said, okay? And I'll give you some examples right now. You're gonna record what is gonna be done, what is going to be done, and not exactly what's going to be said. In other words, you don't need to worry about writing word by word by word. I know there are some local networks out there that use little recorders to record their meetings, and here virtually you'll be able to record your meetings virtually, but you don't have to write down every single word that was said. You need to write down what will be done, okay? When do you record the notes? You need to record them during an industry event. You need to record notes during a governing board meeting, and you need to record notes during a membership meeting. So yes, your presence is needed, and it is important that you attend these meetings. Again, industry events, governing board meetings, and membership meetings. So one of the questions might be, what about a committee meeting? So depending on your network and how it is that you style it for the year, each committee will have their little meetings and they can set up their own secretary there. I definitely encourage secretaries to participate in everything, different little committees that you want to be in and help out. But, as far as when you need and must record your meeting notes, it's in the industry events, the governing board meetings, and the membership meetings. You are responsible for maintaining network bylaws and standing rules. You treasure these, you hold on to them, and if there's a meeting where you all are going to get together and you need to revise your standing rules, secretaries, you need to be a part of that committee. It is your responsibility to hold on to the original file and the working file, which is where you're going to be making changes. You're going to maintain them. So right now at the beginning of the year, even though your standing rules and your bylaws are already on your microsite, go in there and make sure that you upload the most recent file. And also, we're going to get into the box right now, but go in there and make sure that when you start your file for the box here in 2021, that you upload what you have right now. There's got to be something in your micro website, and there's got to be something in your box so that people know your local box and, of course, your state box, so that if people have questions, they know where to go. So even though they're uploaded in 2020, you still need to go in there and make sure that they're uploaded in 2021. You maintain all official records of the network, okay? Again, your meetings, notes, and you maintain your standing rules and bylaws. You wanna make sure that you go in there and once in a while look at the other files, and we'll go over some information right now. You wanna maybe nudge your treasurer and say, hey, have you been able to upload this? Hey, have you been able to upload the tax certificate? Have you been able to upload? It is your responsibility to help them and remind them, because it's your responsibility to maintain all official records of the network. So this is what a secretary does, on top of a few other little things that might come up as asked by your president. So here we get down to where a lot of you have questions as to how exactly do I write the minutes? What's the format? What do I include? What needs to be on there? And this exactly is what needs to be on there. And I'm going to show you an example of one right now. Notes of what happened at the meeting. What happened at the meeting? Comprehensive and accurate. Be brief and to the point, no fluff. You don't have to say, well, this person said this, but then this person turned around and said that, and this is how it turned out, and this person commented this person. It's nothing of that nature. You do not need to write the whole details, just the point and how it was resolved, or what is going to be done, or what somebody needs to be done. For example, your program, you're going to ask your program, you're going to ask your strategic partner, your project lead, you're going to ask them to create and help the person that's in charge help create. You're assigning the treasurer to contact the strategic partner
Prepare to keep
project lead.
left after half a mile.
You're going to have them contact the treasurer. You're asking the treasurer to contact your strategic partner project lead. So you're going to put that on your notes. President assigned treasurer to contact so person to start creating this. That's it. That's all you need to write. Again, I'm going to show you some examples right now. Includes motions. Super important. Your motions are so important to have them in your notes, because if at some point 6 months down the line somebody doesn't remember what was agreed on, you come back and you look at your motions. On so date, this was passed. On so date, that was passed. So if somebody wants to maybe question or dispute something, you have your motions to show. I'm going to go into motions just a little bit more in a little bit, okay? It's not an essay or a newspaper article. This goes back to be brief and to the point, no fluffing. You don't have to write a 3-page report for your minutes. It's very small, very minimal, and to the point. If at any point you have a question, I'm not seeing the panel. Maybe Miss Patty or Miss Peggy can help me and let me know if somebody has a question on the chat box, please. So what should be included in the minutes? You start off with the logo, your name, your network name, and your logo at the very top, okay? Your title is going to be Governing Board Meeting Minutes. Governing Board Meeting Minutes, Industry Meeting Minutes, Membership Meeting Minutes, the title, okay? Your date, and I also put the time that the meeting was scheduled to start, and your location, your address. For this, go ahead and look at your standing rules. See, you know, what it is that your standing rules is stating as far as where your meetings will be held. Strongly recommend that they're held in an office environment. Maybe one of your offices, one of your real estate offices, maybe a title office, maybe a lender, somewhere where you all can meet in the middle. Again, that is up to your president. That is up to what's on your standing rules. But, you know, an office environment makes the meeting more professional and everybody is paying attention to the meeting and what's being discussed. Names of those present, who is there at your meeting, who's attending. You need to put what time the meeting was called to order at, you know, AM or PM, and name of the president or the person presiding on their behalf. So if the president cannot make a meeting, then you're going to have your president-elect there. And if for some reason both of the positions are not there, put the name of the person that's presiding the meeting based on the instructions given by either the president or the president-elect. The people reporting the motions and or the actions, okay? Who made the motion, and then just indicate it was seconded, and then you indicate if it passed or failed. Again, I'm going to go into motions just a little bit more. You need to indicate what time your meeting was adjourned, and you need to indicate when your next meeting is going to be. Okay, indicate that on your meeting notes, because when you turn around and you prepare your notes and you send them to the board, they'll also have it right there when the next meeting was scheduled for, and there will be no question about it. You want to prepare your meeting notes as soon as possible, within 48 hours if possible, and you send them to your governing board, and you're going to approve the meeting notes at the following board meeting. At the following board meeting, you are going to present your notes, and they're going to let you know if there's any corrections or revisions that need to be made. We'll go into that in a little bit. So here is a sample of your meeting notes. You have your logo at the top, and then you have your 2021 leadership team, when the meeting was held, and for location, I have Zoom meeting. Now, these meeting notes are going to be in conjunction with your president's agenda. because your president is going to have an agenda for that meeting. So these meeting notes are going to be in conjunction with your agenda. You can see what time the meeting was called to order, and you're seeing who all attended the meeting. Okay, so then the president is going to start the meeting and they're going to give their report. So you put president, and then you put, you know, the topics that were discussed. Really easy. Approved, discussed, next, installation. And you don't have to put everything that was approved or you all agreed on or anything, just what was done. Now, if there's something that needs to be done, you're going to indicate it on there. After the president finishes with her report, his or her report, you're going to move on to the president-elect and then to the treasurer. And you're going to indicate on your meeting notes, you know, points for each person that spoke. Let's say the treasurer was not able to meet it, they were out sick. If the first vice president, if either the president or the president-elect is going to give that report, you will note on there, given by, and or if there's no report to put on there, then you just do not list the treasurer at all. It depends on the arrangement that was made with the president. You're going to indicate any new business. Again, you're going to indicate your next meeting, and you're going to put what time your meeting was adjourned. It's just bullet points of what needs to be done. And then again, you're going to put in there if a motion was made, maybe it was made during the first vice president, maybe it was made during the president. You're going to put in there if any motions were made. Again, motions are very important. So here are some examples of what to include in a meeting, okay, and your meeting notes. Candidate review team was appointed by the government board as follows. Boom, 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 boom. You don't need to put on there, it was discussed if this person would have time to do this or not have time. You don't need to put any of that information. You just put what was done. You know, at a governing board meeting, which is going to be like an industry event meeting, for example, the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the use of Texas was led by, you put that person's name. It was determined that there was a quorum. That's all you need to put. Approval of the agenda and meetings. The agenda and the minutes for blank were approved as presented. That's going to be something that the president at the beginning is going to share with everybody. They're going to say, okay, here are the meeting notes for the last meeting that we had. Do we approve it? Are there any corrections? So all you have to put is approval of the agenda of the meetings was approved and presented as presented. Now, if there's something that needs to change on your meeting notes because there was an error in spelling or something was omitted, we're going to go through that right now as well too, okay? Financial report, treasurer, report attached. If you're going to have forms that need to be attached, for example, if a committee project lead needs to speak and present something, they need to send it in to the president at least 2 days prior. Again, this is something you're going to discuss on your board, what makes it easier for the president to prepare for a meeting. But at least 2 days before a meeting is going to be held, you need to let your president know that you would like some time. You know, you need to present something. And if you're going to present something, then you would need to go ahead and send all attachments to your president so they can email it out to the people attending the board meeting, and they'll have that information ready. The same goes for the treasurer. The treasurer is going to have their report, their monthly report ready by the next meeting, you know, and you're going to have to email that to her so that she can attach it to the presentation and email it to everybody else. Although you will be the one that's going to be, the treasurer will be the one that's going to present it. But when you submit your meeting notes, you're going to include every document that was presented. So you're going to put treasurer report attached. If there's a contract that the president has to sign, you're going to put contract attached. Again, you are the record keeper for all the documents that need to be kept for the network. More, so here's an example. Your president speaks, right? You're gonna put president report. The state leadership meeting in Austin was a worthwhile and beneficial trip. 2021 officers received training for their new positions, period. The standing rules will be submitted with some changes for approval at the next meeting, period. We need to help our lunch reservations in order to get accurate counts, period. You know, these are items that the president discussed with you all, and it's something that needs to be known. You know, we need to help our lunch reservations in order to get an accurate count. It's something that everybody needs to work on. So we put it on the meeting notes so that we know what we need to do, what's going to be done. The National Women's Council of Realtors president will be here in 4 months to visit our network for the industry event. Financial arrangements need to be decided. Okay, things that are going to happen, that need to happen, you're gonna log them down. President-elect, you know, the president-elect comes in and starts talking. One of the examples is the president-elect will be taking care of travel arrangements for the line officers. The report is attached. What's that report? It could be the registration for the conference. It could be at least the reminder of when registration is going to open. Maybe you already have quotes for the hotel. Maybe you already have quotes for, you know, other items that you're going to need. Those are the reports that they're going to turn in to you all. The president-elect is going to turn in to the president so that we can attach them to the meeting notes. Here it is where your treasurer report, you know, the treasurer gets up and the treasurer reports. The budget was in line year to date. That's all you need to put. Our last fundraiser was a financial success. We were able to add $407 to the scholarship. There might be some more side conversation happening about this and how exciting it was and who led it and how successful and what issues came up. But you don't have to put all that information. You just put the most important point that needs to be made. The audit project team has completed their third quarter review and all is in proper order. You know, the treasurer's gonna give little details, little points that are important that we need to keep in record so that if anybody says, hey, did the audit project team complete their third quarter review? Y'all gonna be, oh, hold on, let me check. Yeah, it says it on so date that they did complete it. Oh, okay, that's great. So it's something to come back to and double check and confirm and verify. The secretary, you're gonna give a report too. You know, a note of thought and prayer went out to the members of ABC family and you know, her family in support of the sister who was recently diagnosed. You know, the secretary is going to have other responsibilities too, like taking care of sending out flowers or taking care of sending out get well cards. Again, this is on your standing rules, who's responsible for this. But if it's something that the secretary needs to do, she's going to report it to you all what she did in that time. Your membership director is going to give a report. Your event director will give a report. You know, every meeting for sure, the membership director needs to tell you all how many members you have, how many affiliates you had, what kind of growth you had. Every membership director needs to be ready to report that information at every meeting. Also, you know, our next membership orientation is going to be on sale date. Our next membership mixer is going to be on so date. Get ready to present this information, and the secretary is just going to put membership amounts, next membership scheduled for, next orientation scheduled for, and that's all you're going to indicate. Your event director will want to talk about what up and coming events are coming up and who is going to present, and you put these things there, okay? So when you're going to present your governing board meetings to the governing board, this is where you're going to type them up, you're going to send them to the president is going to turn around and present them for you at the beginning of the meeting. You're going to the board is going to review the meeting notes, and that's why it's important that you have everything to her or him in time, so that she can email it all to you all in time, and you all get a chance to review all this. So when you come to the meeting, you're ready to make corrections or revisions, and you're ready to present them, okay? Corrections. Minutes should not be rewritten. Okay, if there's a boo-boo in a spelling, if there's an error on the date, maybe you made an error, you do not have to rewrite the whole notes and resubmit them again for approval. You do not need to do that. All you need to do is, with a red pen, you need to cross them with one line, put in the correct information wherever the errors are. So pay good attention to this, secretaries. You do not have to rewrite the notes. If you made an error on a date, on a name, any little error that you made, all you do is put a red line over it. You put the correct information. Then at the end, when they approve them with corrections, then you're going to sign it. Respectfully submit it with corrections. Respectfully submitted with corrections, Claudia Gaitan, 2021 Secretary. Respectfully submitted with corrections, because you're already making those corrections. Then you're going to take those notes, those meeting notes, and you're going to scan them, and that's what you're going to upload to your records, the corrected meeting notes. Okay. Place the corrected file in the box and send to the governing board. Okay, no questions so far? We're okay? Okay. Minute tips for success. Obtain the information beforehand. So this goes for all positions, or anybody that's going to ask for some kind of speaking time, like a committee that wants to present an event, or a committee that needs to present something. You're going to ask your president beforehand if they can present, and then if you can present, so that she can put you on the agenda. And then you're going to make sure that you send her all that information. If you're going to present, have all your details ready, especially if you're going to ask for something, so that they don't knock it down because you're missing some information. You need to, secretaries, you need to sit near the presiding officer, okay? And we go over the sitting arrangements at the protocol. You need to type minutes as soon as possible, within 48 hours. Take really good notes, but just in case you forget something, that's why you want to take you want to type them up and send them in as soon as possible. You're going to email the notes to the governing board. You're going to keep a separate motion file to upload to the box. And you're going to create a report form for motions. That's something we're going to show you right now. I look at it like a table of contents. You're going to be adding to that motion form the date and the motion. Then you're going to have behind it the actual motion form that was turned in. Okay. Now I know some motions are made at the minute, right at the meeting, and you're not prepared for it. But if you do, have your motion form completed and whatever backup you need. So again, you're going to present that separate motion list in what I call a table of contents. Okay, you want to keep that so that if something in the future comes up and you're wondering when that motion was made, or you're wondering if a motion was even made for that, instead of going through your whole binder and all your notes and everything, have that table of contents of all the motions that have been made, so you can refer to it right away. Okay. And you're going to add it to a permanent network minute book. Okay.
Claudia, we do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a question in the chat. When you say the box, where is that?
We're going to be talking about that right now. It's the box that we were mentioning earlier, that it's at the state level. And I'll be talking about that a little bit and giving you the procedures for that. Okay. Motions. This is how I'm helping all the secretaries, presidents, president-elects, motions, they must be in writing. Important that they're recorded somewhere, and they need to be recorded as adopted. So be, short, but be very to the point when a motion is made. You're going to report the action or the disposition of every motion. Motion made by, and then all you have to put is seconded. You don't have to put who seconded. You just have to put that it was second. And then you first state the motion. And then you put seconded. And then you go ahead and put if it was passed or failed or tabled for the next meeting. You do not have to put the details of the discussion. If you all saw in the excellent mock meeting that we had presented by Ms. Sharon Edding and the other past presidents, those meetings were so short and clear. This is the motion that was made. This is what was seconded. Everybody sat down, gave their discussion, gave their pros, gave their cons, didn't dispute it. They were just saying, this is why I don't think, well, this is why I think. Okay, any more discussion? Thank you very much. It was passed. And you put on there passed. But make sure that you put what the motion was and that it was passed. You don't have to put why it was passed, what it was for, how it came about. You just put what the motion is and that it was passed or that it was failed, okay? Name of maker only, and the statement that the motion was seconded. Again, who made the motion? You don't have who seconded. You just have to put that it was seconded and if it passed or failed. Super easy. Super easy. What's important is that you get the correct verbiage for that motion. And they're probably going to ask you, and you can ask, Ms. Secretary, Madam Secretary, you can ask, can you please repeat your motion? Can you please repeat your motion? Because you run it written down as that person made that motion. Okay. Again, maintain a separate running list of approved motions recorded by date. Okay, at this governing board, this date, this is the motion, and you could even probably put a little column that says approved or not passed or failed. Okay, but that way you have a motion of, because you're going to have a lot of motions made. You don't want to be coming back and forth and looking for them like crazy. You just have that table of contents ready. So that's very, very important. Any more questions about motions? Because these are delicate. These are delicate. Treasures, you're gonna find, if I may, that in your notes, you're gonna need to keep copies of notes, meeting notes, and motions. You need to keep that in your notes, okay? In case they question an expense or something, you have that backup, on so date, look, you guys approved this payment, that's situations like this that happen. So here are some examples of motions approved record, okay? You have your date that the motion was made. And then you have a little example, really to the point. Approve the balanced budget. Approve change to the standing rules. What was the change to the standing rules? Removal of the per diem for food on trips for state and national meetings, period. You don't have to put that, well, because some person is adding extra information on their receipts and there's alcohol and there's this. And you don't need to put any of that information, okay? And the person stating the motion also needs to be very cut and short and to the point. Approved to set up a separate account for Realtor Scholarship. Approved, approved, approved. Approved ratification of special fund fundraiser expense, $8.74 over budget. It went over budget, so you had to let them know it went over budget and they needed to approve it. Approve setting aside the meeting date required in the standing rules to allow a joint meeting with so-so board on March 4th. You just put on there. And you could also put failed ... and the motion. Okay, does that make sense so far? I know motions are very important. Okay.
So can I make one comment for you,
Yes.
Claudia?
Yes.
On your motion sheet, the only motions that go on the motion sheet are those that passed.
Okay.
just so you know, when they do the audit is when they use this motion sheet, because most of the motions have something to do with money, of course. So when they're doing the audit, they need access, quick access to these motions. So clearly we don't want to just, as Claudia is telling you, we don't want to talk about everything. And so the things that don't pass, we certainly don't even care if they didn't pass. On this particular motion sheet, we do not put any motions that failed. But
Okay.
you might
Thank
want
you
to
for that
include those in the
clarification.
minutes, but you don't have to transfer them into this motion sheet.
Thank you for that clarification, Madam President. Thank you.
And Claudia, we have a question in the chat. In the past, committee reports were required from each director and committee. Chairs to be sent to the president. I assume the reports are to be sent to the president to be able to give their report at the board meeting. Are committee reports still necessary?
Yes, they are. And that's going to be one of the forms that we will be discussing. But yes, that is correct. That has not changed. And you're going to send that report in to the president so that that president puts you on the schedule. If anybody wants to speak, they need to be put on the schedule. And the only way that's going to happen is by letting your president know. And you got to turn in your committee form and any other backup that you're going to need to present, especially if there's a motion of some sort. You need to include a motion form with the backup. The more information you have, the better. The more information you have, the better. Be prepared. Be very prepared. I have seen meetings where somebody is asking for $3,000 for a speaker. And one of the persons asked, okay, what's the speaker's name? And that person did not remember the name of the speaker. And that person said, for a 30-minute speech, $3,000, that expensive speaker, and you didn't have the name of that speaker? No, we're not going to approve this. So have your notes, have all your proof, be ready to present. If it's something that you really, really like, that you really want to push, okay?
And
your
while
duties.
the next one, I'm sorry, I'm just going to clarify one thing, if I may, Claudia. For the committee reports at the local level, you actually have project teams now. So you don't actually have committees, it would be project team reports.
That's part of the in with the new, out with the old that I got to get into my head. Okay, your duties to your network. Receive incoming correspondence and disperse as necessary. Again, this is something that is on your standing rules. Who's going to be the person that's going to go to the mailbox, that's going to hold the PO box? I know there are some networks that they receive their mail at their association, but who's going to be the person responsible for picking up that mail? Our recommendation is the secretary, because the secretary is the record keeper and the secretary can disperse this information. Standing rules, you know, but our recommendation is the secretary is the person that needs to be receiving the incoming correspondence. Maybe Peggy or Patty can tell us, is it definitely recommended that the secretary hold that PO box key or that mail responsibility, or can it change?
So here is what I would say about that. It's probably most advantageous for either the treasurer or the secretary to hold that key, but there should be two keys and the president should have one also. Okay. It depends on where the post office box is. Sometimes some, president will set it up and it's close to them, and then it isn't close to the new incoming president. It's closer to the treasurer than it is anybody. And so then, you might say, well, let the treasurer pick up the mail. So that is certainly not anything written in stone, but I would absolutely say to you, under all circumstances, the president should have a key, and who the additional key holder is needs to be worked out, okay, the president and the board.
And please, if you've already had a PO box and an address established for the last 10, 15, 20 years, and it's a community box, don't go changing things. Don't go changing things to make it easier or to make it closer or anything. Just reach an agreement as to who's closer, who it's easier to pick up that mail, okay? Send outgoing correspondence as directed by the president. The president might ask you to be in charge of setting up all the meetings and setting up all the meetings and sending them in a Zoom request or sending them in an email request. You know, whatever the president asks for you to do, you need to go ahead and follow up with that direction. You're going to maintain the important network documents in box.com. So we're going to jump into that right now. You're going to be responsible for sympathies and memorials. So with that, with my personal experience, what I recommend is you can also set up a little task that if you ask your president, if you can set up a project team for this, and it could fall under you, that would be your hospitality. And maybe your hospitality, you could direct the person in hospitality to send out these sympathies and these memorials. You know, again, you want to invite other people into your leadership to help you so that you can identify them and see if you want to ask them to move up the next year or encourage them or, you know, recommend them for maybe something else the following year. So it's about inviting other people, trying to create other little task committees, project committees, so that you could start involving other members and letting them see what it's like to be on a board and encourage them. So again, you could ask your president if you could create another little task force for thank you notes, and they write up all the thank you note and then send them to the president for the president to sign them all and mail them out. But you want some help with that. And everything you're going to do, of course, you're going to run by your president and make sure that everything is okay. Your duties to your network also consist of attending as many district meetings, regional meetings, state meetings, national meetings of Women's Council, state and national, as stated here. Why do you want to do that? It's going to motivate you to continue. It's going to motivate you to wanting to grow your leadership with your network and moving on to the state and to the national level. On top of that is that you're a part of the governing board, and your board wants to travel together and show how everybody supports themselves at your network. Attend educational sessions when traveling on behalf of the network and report back to the governing board at the next meeting. So you're, as a secretary, you're going to probably attend the secretary state meeting and the national and other events that they ask you to attend that your president will assign to you to attend. And you want to take notes of all that. If you, on your way back, you all are driving back, you want to talk about the trip, you want to take notes so that you could report it back at the next governing board. Remember, you're using the membership money, so you want to share with them everything that you learned, and having these notes helps out. Again, sympathies and memorials. You need to know your bylaws and your standing rules. You need to know your bylaws and standing rules, and any other duties requested by the governing board and or president. Those are your duties to the network. Your duties to the state. Your duties to the state, really simple, but must be done. Upload approved minutes to box.com into the folder that was set up for you. And I'm going to talk to you about that right now. The first, I will be sending out an email invitation to you all by the end of this weekend, by tomorrow night. And I'm going to be sending that box information to the president only. And then from there, I'm going to give directions to the president so they can share this with your board, because everybody's going to want a folder, okay? All positions, your treasurer is going to want to, and then your secretary, your program director. So I'm going to give the president, that's going to be my first line of contact. And then you all, the secretary, can call me, definitely call me if you have any questions on the box and how to use it, or you're having issues. Those are your responsibilities, secretaries, to the state, that you upload all of these important state documents, taxes, things like that. And you're going to see on the box, you're going to see there's 9 files. And those 9 files means that this is what our president, our state president, wants from you. Okay. So here we go. Instructions for box.com. Again, I'm going to send you an email, the president's, and then the presidents will forward that information to your board members. But you can start by going to box.com, and you're going to sign up for a free personal account. Okay, box.com, you're going to open it up and you're going to sign up for a free personal account. You're going to get a confirmation email that you need to click on and verify so that you can log into your account. Okay, once you all do that, then you're going to receive my email, and you're going to click on using your password and everything that you set up. When you get my email that I'm going to share our file, I'm not sharing how to set up the box. Hopefully you have it set up by then. My email is just going to be for me to share the Texas 2021 file with you. That's all my email is going to say, that I'm sharing that file. You should already have your box.com so that you can go in there and click on it when you get my email. And then you're going to scroll down to your network folder. More than likely, I'll probably I'll consult with Miss Peggy. I think that I should just send. Let me ask Miss Peggy. That's why I'll have it ready by tomorrow night. Because when I saw scroll down to your network folder, it just reminded me of something. I don't know if you want to establish it now, Miss Peggy. Do I need to send them the entire? Yeah, I'm sorry. I do need to send you the entire 2021 Texas files. I do need to send that to you because you need to upload other stuff for other positions. Okay, I answered my own question. And then you're gonna select the subfolder approved minutes. It's already there, approved minutes. And that's where you're gonna upload. You're gonna see a file for taxes. That's where you're gonna upload taxes. Either you or the treasurer or whoever the president instructs for all of this, you know, when you all get together and discuss this. Is there any questions about the box?
Yes, Claudia, we have a question.
It's just box.
Yes. Okay, and we just have a minute, so we need to.
So really quick, here's some, if you need anything, like everybody has mentioned, WCR.org, WCR box.com, those are your websites that you need. And here are some forms, and the motion forms, they'll be in there. Here's your motion form. Here's your governing board form. If you're gonna report to the governing board, and then here's some forms for fundraising. Like another section has this internal quarterly report procedure. You want to know what's on here in case you need to remind your president, or ask the president if you can remind the treasurer, or ask the president can let you remind the membership director. Remember, you're a secretary, you're there to help and support. So, you know, if you can nudge them depending on the arrangement that you have with your president. And for right now, this concludes my report. I will tell you that with Madam President Peggy's permission, I will be holding, she's already agreed, I will be holding monthly meetings, and I'll be setting those up via Zoom or however we can. Be more than happy to travel if necessary when it's allowed, but I will be keeping in touch, and you all can reach out to your secretary. Ms. Peggy, can a secretary call the state secretary, or do they have to go through the DVP?
No, if they have an actual question for you, by all means, they can certainly, they can certainly ask you, but I would prefer that you go through the district vice president for all your questions, only because if then the district vice president is afforded the opportunity to get that answer, and then they know that answer, so that when someone else asks that question, they will have the answer. So